Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to the first of many videos for our Safe Spring Break Fair. We can't meet in person, so we are doing things virtually online. So ladies and gentlemen, meet Ranger John Duwe. He works at Crater Lake National Park, and he's here to talk to us about things we can do up there and also stay safe while we're up at Crater Lake. Take it away, John.
Thanks, Jennifer. Well, hi everybody. I'm excited that I get to share Crater Lake with you. I'm not outside today. It's really pretty awful weather. We're in a winter weather advisory today. It's blustery. It's whiteout conditions. So I just have my kind of holographic backdrop for you. And this is kind of what Crater Lake would look like in maybe June or early July. There's still snow on the ground. Right now, the snow is about 10 feet deep. And by the time you guys are on spring break, it'll probably be a little bit deeper. Usually by the first week of April, on average, we have 12 feet of snow on the ground here at Crater Lake. So if you're coming up to Crater Lake in the spring break, or really any time that's not in the middle of summer, you got to be prepared for snow. And I have a few tips for you to make it worth your trip. So I'm sure you guys are doing plenty of Zooms and PowerPoints and stuff, and so I apologize that I got some more Zoom and PowerPoint for you. But this is to inspire you and prepare you to go out and have a real life three-dimensional adventure in nature here at Crater Lake. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here with you guys for the so here we go. And as you can tell, I'm a park ranger. Your professors are probably a lot more fluent with the Zoom stuff at this point. So I just put plan for an awesome nature experience, because really you got to plan, or else you could have a dangerous experience, or you could have just kind of a pretty uncomfortable experience that leaves you not wanting to come back. We want you guys to come back over and over again throughout the year. So this is a picture of Crater Lake, and it's taken from the air. A lot of times the jets, you know, the Air Force jets that go over town, a lot of times those guys fly over the lake, or at least close, and they get this type of view. And I'm always a little bit jealous, because you can't get this view from the ground. Crater Lake is just too big. Now, you might see that high mountain behind the lake. That's Mount Scott. You can see that right from Klamath Falls, you know, almost from campus. And those mountains are all huge. And then in the middle, there's that lake that's about 6 miles wide, the way we're looking at it right there. And on the right side of the lake, or that'd be the south side, you can actually see a highway driving up. It's a little white line, and that goes right up to Rim Village, which is a little glacial valley right there on the edge of the lake. Now, it's a 1,000-foot cliff above the water, so you can't get down to the water and swim or ice skate or anything in the winter. You'd have to come back in July or August for that. But people come from across the world. I mean, people are traveling, they're flying in. You know, right now, internationally, not so much, but typically, folks are flying all over the world to see, you know, this kind of weather at Crater Lake. And a lot of people, they end up seeing this. Today is February 26th. I told you it's a storm here. You know, this picture is from earlier this morning. It says 9:06 a.m. I drove up here today, you know, to help make this video, and it was white knuckle winter driving just to come up here. And what I mean by that is you really are kind of on edge, because the visibility is really low and your stopping distance is really far, and you're kind of afraid there's going to be a snowplow or a stuck vehicle or something right around the corner, and you're afraid of hitting them. So it's kind of scary. And then if you do make it all the way up, like some of the folks that came up here today did, they're going to see this. This is not a broken picture. This is what it actually looks like up at Rim Village today. It's just a storm. You're just in the clouds. So you don't really want to come up here on a day like this, because you got to, you know, do all that winter driving, which is dangerous. And then the payoff is pretty low. Unless you're a John Muir type, you know, and you really want to go just experience a blizzard, then go ahead. The park is open, you know, every day of the year. Now, you want to be prepared to see this. This is what you're looking for, and this is what you can get, because if you're a student at OIT, you live an hour at most away from this view on a beautiful day, and we have really good weather forecasting these days. So within 3 or 4 days out, you can get a I wouldn't say crystal clear, but pretty good picture of what the weather's going to be like. And really, if you even look a week out, you can get a decent idea if it's going to be a storm or at least sunny. So this is just a beautiful picture. This is actually from the summit of Garfield Peak. So this is above Rim Village as skiers go up there and then ski down. So there's different types of people that come up, or I should say, we all come up for the same reasons to see the lake, but some people just want to see the lake, and some people just want adventure, and some people want it all. So it kind of broke it down here for you can kind of decide what you want when you come up to Crater Lake. So if you're looking for lake views, which I think everybody should be, you are going to want to shoot for good weather. Weather.gov. Now I'm going to show you how to do a little web search to get to the best things in a couple slides. But weather.gov, that is the best weather forecast probably on Earth. Weather Channel and all those, they take the weather.gov, that's the National Weather Service. They take their forecast and they run it through computers and run it against averages from the past and try to give you like a 14-day forecast. The reality is we just trust weather.gov to give us like a good 4-day forecast out. And for like 3 days, they give you about how much snow to expect, like snowfall. So look for low wind and sunny skies, because if it's a sunny day but it's really windy, it's not very comfortable up here. So that's the combo you want: low wind, sunny skies. If it's partly sunny, that's all right. And then call ahead to check road conditions. The road conditions can be treacherous and require snow chains. We're in a snow zone here. So the law enforcement rangers, if the roads get bad enough, they can turn you around if you don't have snow chains. Even if you have like a big Jeep or something, they are allowed to turn you around if the roads are bad enough. So you don't really want to come up when the roads are that bad, because chaining up is no fun, and it's just not worth it. So you want to call ahead the day before, maybe the morning of, and see, you talk to a ranger and see what the road conditions are. And then, sometimes the roads are closed even on sunny days, because if it snows a ton, usually the day right after a big storm is nice and sunny, but all that snow is still on the roads being cleared off. So you want to make sure you avoid that. And if you call that number there, 541-594-3100, the rangers here will let you know if it's worth it or not. And that number is easy to find on a web search. Here's something that you shouldn't forget. It does cost $20 to get into the park. Now the $20 is for the whole car, and it's good for 7 days. So if you bring friends, if you get 4 people together or something, that's not so bad. If you think you're gonna go a couple times over a week or something, or maybe like 2 weekends in a row, maybe that would be pretty cool to spread out the money that way. I am going to give you guys a couple ideas of what to do if you want to avoid that admission fee, but just don't forget. And they take card and everything. You can buy the seasonal passes if you want, but just don't forget to bring your wallet, because you can't get in for free. If you're looking to explore away from vehicles, now this is for people who they feel like they have the gear and knowledge to really kind of get away and get out into the wilderness. You're going to need some special stuff, and it's really not complicated to get, but you're going to have to get it. So in addition to all the stuff in the last slide, you're going to need snowshoes or cross-country skis. In just a minute, I'll show you what both those look like in case you're not familiar. You also can rent both those from OIT and a couple other places in town. You can't rent them at the park, so make sure you bring snowshoes or cross-country skis up with you. Yeah, and I'll tell you a little bit more about those in a minute. And then you got to wear warm clothes. You got to dress in layers. The weather changes quickly out here. You're going to want to avoid cotton, skiing in jeans or whatever. People make fun of that. But really, if you go skiing in jeans or snowshoeing in jeans, if the wind picks up and it's snowing, or if you fall over and get wet, it's pretty uncomfortable and it can be dangerous. You're going to want warm hat and gloves, maybe a couple extras, and then some sort of boots or sturdy shoes. You don't want to just go out in Vans snowshoeing, or else you're going to probably get really cold, but then also it's just going to be uncomfortable on your feet because there's not much padding over the top of your foot. Now, if you're looking to get extreme like this dude, you're going to want, in addition to everything else in the last 2 slides, you're going to want to have the proper avalanche training and gear. Again, that's not impossible to get, but you have to get it, and then you also have to practice it. And then more important, you have to go with a partner. And Crater Lake has some great extreme kind of options up here, and you just have to go online and kind of look to see if you're into that kind of stuff. And then, of course, make sure you take pictures of yourself. Now, the best info for conditions, now this is regardless if you're coming up just to take pictures and you just have, like a Tesla or something. We have a lot of Teslas driving up, definitely not Jeeps. Or all the way to if you're coming up with a big Jeep and you want to go snowshoeing or something, you go to the same place to get all the links to everything you need: webcams, weather. There's like winter safety videos for driving and for going into the backcountry. If you want a backcountry camp, all that information. You just do a web search for Crater Lake conditions. This was today. I put Crater Lake conditions in there. It came up as the first one. I Google it a lot, so maybe it came up as the first one on my Google. There's a chance that your first Google return will be something commercial if you haven't searched this before, like to get reservations at the lodge or something. Just make sure that you're looking for the nps.gov site, because that's going to give you all the links to the government weather and all that stuff I mentioned before. Oh, here's for those who want to skip the admission fee. Now, I'd say to go up and see Crater Lake in the snow on a sunny day is incredible. It's definitely worth 20 bucks. But let's say you already did it and you don't want to go do it again, right? Or you did it last year and you're saving your money for something else. You can't get views of the lake, but you can go play in the snow, and you can call for directions for either of these places if you can't find them although they're both on Google Maps or whatever. So Annie Creek Snow Park, this is right on the boundary, the southern boundary of Crater Lake National Park. So you're driving up from Klamath Falls, and you get on Highway 62 to take you up to the park, and right before you get into the park, you see a snowmobile sign, and snowmobiles are usually parked there, and the snow park is awesome. People go there to tailgate and whatever, to bring their kids to go sledding. And there's also groomed snowmobile trails that start there that are pretty good for snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. As long as you're looking out for the snowmobiles, but they're pretty loud, so you can kind of see them coming. So that place is free-ish. I think technically you need to buy a snow park pass to leave your car there unattended. I don't think that's very expensive, and I'm also not sure if it's strictly enforced or not. So that'd be something to do a quick web search for, is Oregon Snow Park Pass. And then the other place that's totally free and inside Crater Lake, but again, inside Crater Lake National Park, but without a view, is the famous Pacific Crest Trail. And you can drive all the way up into Crater Lake. You take Highway 62 up into the park. When you see the sign for Crater Lake, like to turn a right, you actually skip that because that's where you go in to pay. And you go about another mile, and then there's a place to park on the side of the road. And you'll see a sign there for the Pacific Crest Trail. And that's you can go north or south, so either way from the highway there. And it's ungroomed, but it's pretty for a while going both ways. It's pretty easy and safe snowshoeing and cross country skiing, and the trail is marked with blue diamonds in the trees, so you can keep yourself from getting lost. So that's kind of some of the details in the slides. I do want to show you guys though what I'm talking about when I say hopefully we're still okay. I'm back.
Still recording.
Okay.
Okay,
so,
there you are.
So those are some slides that give you some info. This will be a video, so you can rewind and go check that stuff out. Look at some of the stuff to make sure you go into the right spots. And here's, I want to show you guys a couple things and just kind of give you my opinion. Crater Lake, if you come up even on a beautiful day, you do have to walk on snow at least 100 steps to see the lake, which isn't great for everybody, because if you don't have the mobility to walk on the snow, then you can't really see it this winter because the cafe is closed, and there's just no place to get up high and look out a window. So you need to know that before you come up. Now, for walking on that snow, those 100 steps, people come up in all types of footwear and do those 100 steps. So don't worry about your shoes too much if you're just gonna go take some pictures from Rim Village. And that's really, I think it's worth it just to do that. It's really awesome up here. But if you want to really have a full experience at Crater Lake, and this is what I like to do, even if I'm just going to be at Rim Village, I like to go with snowshoes or skis so that I can really get away from the cars. Basically, I like to get away from the cars, get away from the people a little bit. Here at Crater Lake, you can go, just 100 feet in one direction, and all of a sudden you're away from everybody, and it's quiet, it's beautiful. There's wildlife, and there's amazing views that you can find just for yourself. But you can't do that just with shoes or even hiking boots. You're going to be post-holing through the snow. It just doesn't work. So the easiest thing to do, and probably what I would recommend for anybody who doesn't have a lot of experience in the snow yet, is to get snowshoes. These are snowshoes. They don't look like tennis rackets like the old ones. They're cooler. They're heavy duty plastic. They have I think you can see those are metal spikes on the bottom. We call them crampons. They give you a grip on the snow and ice. Under your boot here, you have more spikes, and they actually, when you walk, they dig into the snow. So that's pretty cool. And these are ones that you would rent at like an REI or something if you were in Medford. I'm not sure what kind of snowshoes you guys have at OIT. All snowshoes are different, but they all are similar. They all pivot at the heel, or excuse me, at the toe there. They all have a heel strap to keep your foot in, and some sort of straps to go over the top of your foot. And of course, they spread your weight out with more surface area, so you can walk on top of the snow. These are really cool. I would definitely rent them first and see if you like it a lot. These pairs are kind of expensive. These are like 150 bucks or more, but this is the kind of pair that would last you a lifetime. You can get pairs for a lot cheaper if you're only going to go out maybe once or twice a year. That's something to just consider. Now, this is what I prefer to do usually, is cross-country ski. So these are pretty long old skis, and this looks like a hiking boot, but the hiking boot has now there's different styles of these boots and bindings too. This is kind of the old school style that we use up here a lot. It's we call it a duckbill boot, and or 3-pin boot, because there's 3 holes there, and so just the toe. It's not like downhill skiing. The toe and the heel don't both go in. Just the toe clicks in, and then you can ski with your heel free. This allows you to climb up hills because there's little what look like fish scales on the bottom. So they're smooth this way and they're rough this way, and that allows you to slide this way and grip this way. And then, of course, to make it feel more like walking, your toe pivots just like on the snowshoes. So you can rent. I'm pretty sure you can rent cross-country skis at OIT as well. And if not, I like the Ledge in Klamath Falls. There's some other spots where you can rent. It's pretty fun, and Crater Lake is an awesome spot to try it out because you get the awesome views. There's some really easy trails that are they're kind of near the cliff. You don't want to get too close and start skiing down the 1,000-foot cliff your first time out. But you can go out and get those views on cross-country skis even your first time. So those are 2 things that I would really suggest. If you're an active person, if you're mobile and you really want to have that wilderness experience, that'd be the thing to do. Now, I could go on and on about dangers, because the weather here is dangerous. The avalanche danger can be high. There can be crazy people driving too fast on the roads in the snow. A lot of it is common sense, like drive slow, call ahead, those kind of things. But if it's your first time up in the snow, it can be a little scary when you come on up here. So I would suggest come on that clear day, and know as you're driving, those walls of snow are going to keep going on the side of the road. Are going to keep growing and growing until they're higher than your car, until they're 10 feet high. And know that that you're not stuck there once you get to the parking lots. There's ramps to get out. You will be able to see some views if you could just walk on the snow. If you bring some gear, you'll have I think probably a more fun time. And that's about it. And then the other thing is if you're going to come on spring break, you're going to see how awesome the place is. But if you have a chance to come back in the summer, or maybe if you don't live in town, you like next September when you're back in school, it's such a good time to come and hike all the trails. There's trails up to a bunch of the high peaks. You can walk down to the water and go swimming, and all that stuff is great. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have as far as having a safe spring break goes. We have rangers those 7 days a week up here to call and talk to us, ask us questions, see what the deal is. So so please do that, and we hope to see you up there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I have a couple questions for you that our students may have to. What is the cost of a Crater Lake Lava Beds pass? Because your sister parks, aren't you? Or
We are in cahoots. I have no idea. I think it
oh,
might be I think it might be $30. I'm looking now.
because it might be worth the extra 10 if you get the other park included.
Yes, yeah, let me get those numbers here really quick, Jennifer,
Okay.
and then I can speak to that because I can also advocate for buying the annual pass too if they're going to go on a trip this summer. So annual pass. You can edit this out, right? When you're making
I think I can. I just have to use an editing system I'm not as familiar with, but
you don't have to edit it. We can just
we can do
the,
banter.
the students just know that I don't know because I don't have to pay, you know. Let's see. It says okay, come here often, consider purchasing an annual pass. Uh, okay, this is what it is. I got a better deal for you though. For $55, you can get an annual pass for Crater Lake and lava beds. And I believe now that is the only conjunction I don't think you can take your 7-day pass to lava beds and have it work. If you haven't been to Lava Beds National Monument, it's really an incredible place as well. It's very different than Crater Lake, but there are connections. So $55 would get you in for both as many times as you want for a year. If I was going to spend $55, now I'm not a college student anymore. I'm working, right? I was a college student, and I remember it feeling different. The difference between 55 and 80 is probably a lot bigger for me, you know, then. But if you can spring for $80, you get a card that's an annual pass for every national park in the country. And then you can go, you know, anywhere. Like this summer, if you go on a trip, you can go out to the Redwoods, you can go to Oregon Caves, you can go, you know, I mean, there's parks all over the country. There's 420 or 421 park units now that you could go visit with that pass. So that's something to consider. And these passes, they can all be purchased right here when you get up to the park at the entrance booth. And yeah, so did that kind of answer that question, Jennifer?
Absolutely. And let me ask you another question about ranger guided tours.
Okay.
What are your ranger guided tours? What do you recommend this time of year that for spring break? If you know, if we've got a target here and we want to go on a ranger guided tour, what do you recommend?
Unfortunately, all of our ranger guided tours are canceled due to COVID-19.
Uh,
So this spring break, you're not going to have any options. Normally, you could sign up for a ranger guided tour, snowshoe tour would be off trail. You would get these, and hopefully in 2022 we're doing it again, or into 2021, 2022 that winter. You know, next winter we'll be doing it again. You'll actually get to rent these, not rent. You'll just get to use this type of snowshoes for free with a ranger. But unfortunately, that's canceled. And we don't have any official decisions yet for the summer. But I do think that there's a chance that there will be no ranger guided stuff through the summer and fall as well until things have settled down a bit with the pandemic. So that's kind of where we are right now.
okay, well that's too bad because those are fun. They just add an extra layer of information for everybody. So can I bring my dog?
You can bring your dog, but it's pretty tough to have fun with your dog in the winter because your dog has to stay within 50 feet of the maintained roads. So that means like the roads that their cars are on and the parking lots. And so that's like far enough and it has to be on leash. So it's like far enough to get your dog out of the car so it can go to the bathroom. You can walk it on the snow. But you can't like play frisbee with your dog or take it skiing or snowshoeing or anything. You are allowed to leave your dog in the car in the park. So, you know, if you have a comfortable, safe situation for your dog to hang out in the car, you can do that. In the summer, there are some dog-friendly trails, but most of them aren't. So that's something to consider. Especially like if you're going to buy a national park pass and you're going to plan a big national park trip, if you have a dog and you're inseparable, make sure that you plan accordingly because a lot of the parks, like often the most popular trails at national parks don't allow dogs because, well, several reasons, but it's just a rule right now.
Yeah, I can imagine there's some safety to sort of too many dogs on the trail make for a really poopy walk.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the questions I have. Any last bit of advice?
My only other advice, aside from plan ahead and try to really get that good weather, because it's so worth it to do it the right way and not come up here. I mean, it's still kind of fun to take a snowy drive, but other than planning, I would say coming up a few different times is throughout the year or throughout your life is really the best way to see Crater Lake. If you think back of that slide, you kind of, it's just this big blue pond. If you look here, it's like, okay, you get this view that's on the postcard. That's awesome. But if you come back here just twice or three times, or come back over and over again through as the seasons change, you really get to see the nooks and crannies of the park, which is awesome. This park is part of why it was preserved, is because of its quietude. It's so easy to get away from people here and to have some really strong nature experiences. And it really is different every time. I've been coming to Crater Lake now, hundreds of times a year for 10 years now. And it's never the same. I've never had the same experience 2 days in a row at Crater Lake. So it's worth repeat visits. It has high replay value. So definitely make sure you come back. And that's about all I can say.
Well, and I think that's the best advice. So thank you for doing this for us. And if we have any questions, is there an email address, or do you have a chat box, or?
I would just go to straight to our website. It's nps.gov/CRLA. If you just Google search or just a web search on your phone, Crater Lake National Park, it's the government site. Again, if it's your first time searching it, it probably will not come up first. The commercial site will come up above it, but just make sure it's the .gov site. And then you're going to get to that, and then it's going to be super easy to find links to ask email questions. We don't have any chat thing right now. Actually, you know what though? Sometimes our Facebook Messenger response can be pretty quick. Kind of depends on our staffing. But our info line, which is 541-594-3100, is staffed from 10 to 4, 7 days a week. And that number is really easy to find on the website. Even just, I think Google just comes up. It's like when it just shows the national park, that's the number it gives you. So call us anytime. That's the best way to get the most accurate on the ground information. And just know, if you're calling about a trip that's more than 3 or 4 days in the future, we're not going to be able to really give you super accurate information about exact conditions. But if you call about 3 days out, or a little, or just 2 or 1 day before your trip, we'll be able to give you good info.
Perfect. Well, John, thank you so much. We hope to have you back on campus just as soon as we possibly can meet together. But in the meantime, this is a fantastic substitute.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Hope to see you up here at Crater Lake.
Thank you. Bye, John.
Bye.